Tonight we went out again in the forest looking for an answer of what the shadow people can be. What turned into a conversation of discussing our differences in believing in what the shadow people can be. Since that we are chasing the shadow people, well, in the beginning nothing happened. It was silent, like it is always with spiritual things in and around our hearts. Since what, a week and a half, I believe. Strange things are happening in my home, and like the shadows are increasing, and the sounds are getting louder. And I even saw 3 times clearly a human being in my living room, and it wasn't a flash. It's a male, and I have no idea why I'm seeing that. It's not a shadow, it's a real person. That was freaking amazing. I was laying on the couch watching television, and my husband was sitting on the other side of the living room. And he asked me, "Marianne, are you smoking?" I said, "No." And then he said, "Come here, quick, and smell it. There's a cigarette smoke. There's the smell of a cigarette right here." So I walked up to the door and I smelled it, and there was definitely very thick smell of a filter cigarette. And it was not in my head. It was not something that was produced by a chemical reaction in my brain, or that my brain was recalling a memory. If somebody was really smoking a cigarette right in our face, there was nobody there. It's not creeping me out, but it's remarkable that that is happening while we are chasing the shadow people, or at least trying to figure out what the answer is of the phenomena. So again, we are on the road looking for answers of what the shadow people really are. And I was thinking to myself, when static electricity in the air can create a weak magnetic field around antimatter, and by doing so changing antimatter in a form, or a strange kind of form, of dark matter, and when UV light hits that container of low magnetic field in an angle of, let's say, 45 degrees, maybe it's possible that that UV light is creating a strange kind of photon binding inside that container of low magnetic field, what can create matter. So when this happened in the beginning of time, the possibility of a creation in evolution like the shadow people can be a fact. What do you think?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
You're more into what Darwin had said about one-celled organisms.
Yes, that's my overtuiging.
Conviction.
My conviction. I'm convinced of the fact that the evolution theory of Darwin is the
real one.
Real one, the only real one. I believe that the shadow people are beings who once were people and transformed to shadow people after that the human body died. I'm not sure why why that people transform to shadow people. Maybe negative, I don't know. And other people don't. That's for me a thing I can't answer.
What you are saying is more into spirituality than in science, like a natural biological event created an evolution, a strange kind of matter due photon binding and creating matter in that kind of way, so that an evolution can start. And after that, the theory of Darwin is coming in.
I think that all people, all beings on this planet are a form of energy in what is inside the carrier.
I use the words, I explain it as energy, what Thomas is saying. I believe that also, that we are all energy, positive and negative, and that our aura, which is a magnetic field, is keeping it all together. When our magnetic field didn't existed, our atoms would go like berserk, and maybe you dissolve in, well, nothing. You believe shadow people were once like you and me and transformed into an energy which has density, so can be visible as shadows.
Yes.
That's clear. There you have the answer of Thomas. Yes.
Yeah. You know, it's also, I don't think there is another possibility, because of all the other things around us. Then it would be another evolution, then there would be much more different kinds of it. I think it are people like you and me, maybe, who done things in their lives what causes the change of energy. There are a lot of things you can do what causes the changing in your energy, and I think that's what's happened with the people who are now the shadow people.
But all natural things and events that happens, people are trying to turn it into a mechanical form so they can control it. So let's say that magnetic field was created by, let's say, the CERN, and that scientists found a way to artificially creating a photon binding what is creating matter, and doing so in those experiments, creating a new kind of evolution in the phenomena of shadow people. It is possible because all the elements are present at the CERN, magnetic fields and scientists and photon and explosions, and I know I'm not allowed to say, but the God particle. Scientists creating the phenomena of shadow people, creating a new evolution through this. Your thoughts?
No, I don't think so, because shadow people are existing already so many times that I can't believe that they are created by scientist?
My answer to that, or reaction to that, when you look at the pyramids, they are functioning or have functioned in the same way the sun is functioning. They've got magnetic fields, they got radiation, they got gamma ray, the torsion field, etc. Plasma energy, antimatter, you call it, you name it, the pyramids did have it. So when you say shadow people already existed for a long time, which is documented by many nations, it is possible that pyramids could have functioned like the sun is functioning today, only in a biological way with natural elements.
Yeah, possible.
It is possible that due using pyramids and the technology within the pyramids, shadow people could have been created, or vice versa, that the shadow people were first, as in a primal energy, like in plasma and antimatter captured in magnetic fields due electrical storms, could have created us, only to have a more safer vessel to perform earthly tasks.
I don't see any similarities with that one. There are so many places so long ago already, people who are talking about shadow people. But on the other side, it's not a phenomenon that is seen constantly, everywhere, every time. When the pyramids cost something like that, there would be much more shadow people and much more seeings, and then the shadow people were much easier to find.
Maybe they don't want to be found. Maybe they are split up into two groups. One is a negative group and the other a positive group, and the positive group is trying to guide us, is observing us, is trying to teach us about life, while the negative group is trying to prevent that. And that, for instance, what we know today as quantum tunneling is an escape route for them. So when you say that they are less seen as described in ancient scrolls, for instance, quantum tunneling could be one of those things why we don't see them that much.
Yeah, it's a possibility, but I think that it's not the truth.
Thomas and I are not agreeing about the shadow people and how their evolution has started. Thomas thinks and believes that shadow people were once you and me, like you and me, and transformed into an energy which has what has that kind of density that it can be seen like a shadow. I'm personally thinking that there is more like a biological event in primal energies at the beginning of time, when the world started to exist, when antimatter was captured in a low magnetic field due to static electricity or magnetic storms, and UV light hitting it in a 45-degree angle that could have created a photon binding dust matter. So this is our difference in opinion. But maybe you have another opinion or a theory, and if you like to tell us, you can leave your comments below and we will react back.